systematically taking over $500,000 and attempting to take, frankly, over $600,000 from the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office. Money that Mr. Eames, Deputy Eames, was responsible for managing and overseeing. And nearly as fast as they could take it, Isaac and Karen Eames spent every penny. Money that did not belong to them. Money that belonged to dozens and dozens and dozens of citizens of this county. It is a great tragedy that Isaac is not here to serve his sentence, but Karen is. We often look at white-collar crimes as crimes that are not quite as important or not quite as serious as a violent assault or a shooting or a homicide. And I don't think that gives it justice. Karen Eames' conduct, her complicity in the taking of over $529,000 set the stage for the tragic events of February 7th. That is the consequence. This is the exact consequence to this kind of rampant theft. We respect the court's position regarding the sentence and the commitment of no worse than shock probation. I think the court is very well aware. Our position is that Ms. Eames should be going to state prison. But again, we understand the court's discretion, and we appreciate the court taking the time to look into this. It is the people's request that the defendant be sentenced to 6 months incarceration and 5 years probation, as the court had indicated it is on the table. We'd ask the court to do so. Thank you, Judge, for your consideration.
At the outset, I just want to make it crystal clear, Your Honor, Karen stands before you and accepts full and complete responsibility for her conduct and is overwhelmingly remorseful for it. I don't think I would be truly fulfilling my obligations as your attorney if I did not know that the unthinkable set of circumstances that occurred in this matter as a result of the theft by Isaac that was imposed upon Karen and her son is far beyond any punishment for her part in this matter with respect to benefiting from the stolen funds that the court could ever impose. As the court is aware, the shocking attempt at massacring her family, the agonizing loss of her son, and the traumatic injuries that she received, resulting in deformed hand, jaw, face, and ear, and head injuries, including the subdural hematoma, resulting in her unbalanced migraine headaches, being unable to sleep, that have all resulted in her being disabled. And the required continued treatment and medications are reminders of punishment every day that Karen will have to live with for the rest of her life. Every morning when she wakes up and looks in the mirror or tries to grab a cup of coffee. This constant punishment will endure forever. I believe those alone are compelling arguments that Karen does not need to serve any further incarceration for her part in benefiting in this possession of stolen funds. However, the basis for us to request that no further incarceration be imposed today goes way beyond that. Since Karen has been charged, she has done everything in her power, even with these disabilities, that is humanly possible to pay back the entity that was financially hurt by her actions and the separate actions of her husband. And that included repairing and finishing her home so she could sell it for the highest possible price to obtain restitution in full in the amount of $529,000, which he is doing today by the check I have, which, at least as far as I can recall, Your Honor, is the largest sum of restitution paid in a lump sum in Onondaga County. In addition to that, Although her family started a GoFundMe account while she was in the hospital, after certain funeral expenses for her son Troy were paid and other expenses were paid, and this came to light, she voluntarily agreed to hold and today reimburses the full amount after those expenses held from the GoFundMe account in the amount of over $77,000 and is returning that to the county today to be returned to any donor as they see fit. Additionally, Karen has done everything she can to be supportive of her surviving son Andrew, who has been irreparably hurt by all of this with the loss of his father, brother, pet, and his mother is all he has left of his family. I sometimes wonder whether if Isaac had not committed suicide, whether we'd be focusing on Karen at all, or the acts that truly centered around the theft by him. The acts of February 7th, she didn't cause. Those were acts of a psychopathic mind. With that, Your Honor, I appreciate the court's time and consideration. I appreciate the district attorney's time and consideration. And the basis of all these factors, which I believe are extraordinary, especially including the efforts of Karen to help rectify her unlawful conduct in possessing those funds, we respectfully request that you impose a sentence that does not include any further incarceration or detainment, which I respectfully submit would not fulfill any further legitimate purposes of sentencing, given the fact that restitution has been paid, that there's been acceptance of responsibility. She's been punished beyond any thoughts of what this court could impose. And there's no basis for deterrence with respect to her or anyone else. Thank you.